I'm a Class A PGA golf teacher professional here in Waco, Texas. Been teaching golf since about 1983. Had a couple of students come to me and ask me if I could go ahead and make one of these tapes and send it into the Golf Channel, so I decided I'd go ahead and do it here at the last minute. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my beliefs of the golf swing and how I think people can get better, but before I do, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Again, I'm a Class A PGA professional, but I don't fit the norm for the normal guy that becomes a PGA professional and teaches golf for a living. And I dropped out of school at age 14. I didn't even take up golf until I was 20, and wound up getting a master's degree from Baylor University because of my love for the game. So golf's been very good to me. I've been very blessed. Again, looks-wise, you know, I've got the ponytail here, and that's not the norm for a guy that does what I do for a living. However, there is a good excuse for that. I have a young man, a student, that transferred from one university to another, and he was a bit apprehensive about the move. And so one of the things I did was I said, you know, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm not going to cut my hair till you win a college event. And lo and behold, it won like the first college event he played in, so that wasn't much of a challenge. So I made the comment that I would wait and not cut my hair until he won a PGA Tour event. That's a little different than winning a college event. Now, he did win 8 or 9 times in college, and he's won 4 or 5 times in the Tiger Lodge Tour. He's playing the Nationwide Tour full-time this year, and he's made the weekend a time or two on the PGA Tour, so it's just a matter of time before he's going to cut my hair, and then I'm going to look like the normal guy that does what I do for a living. Anyway, I want to talk to you a little bit about the golf swing, especially my philosophy about the golf swing. You know, I think there's a lot of ways to get golf. I've been watching the Golf Channel lately, you know, and you see them talk about or debate about the stack and tilt versus, you know, the other swings. I don't think that Ballard swing or Ledbetter swing or Haney swing or Parman swing, I don't think that any of them are right, and I don't think that any of them are wrong. I think what we should do is teach a person to swing a golf club according to their build, according to the things that they do naturally. I don't think there's one specific golf swing that's going to be successful. For example, if you look at Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino, those swings are not your typical golf swings, but those guys were extremely successful. Everybody that comes to me, they never come and say, hey, Ray, will you teach me to swing like Arnie? It's always, can you teach me to swing like Adam Scott, or can you teach me to swing like Tiger Woods? So I think the public has a general perception that there is a correct golf swing, and I just don't think there is. There's a lot of ways to hit a golf club. Mr. Azinger, for example, was a great player. He used to play with a strong grip, he would hit a cut shot. So you can do different things and still make the golf ball do what you want to do, but that's the key. When you play that way, you have to do things to make the golf ball go where you want it to go. You depend on your athleticism. Your skill level has to be great if you're going to manipulate the club through the hitting area. What I like to teach, good, simple fundamentals. For example, grip, stance, and posture. If a guy grips the golf club properly, if he doesn't have a strong or a weak grip, if he grips it relatively neutral, that's going to give him the best opportunity to swing the golf club back and swing the golf club through. Where the club face square is pretty much on its own at impact. And that's what we're looking for. So the better a person's grip, the better the opportunity for them to keep the club face square throughout the swing. Thus, the straighter golf shot they're going to hit. So I like a good grip. Good ball position. We don't spend enough time working on ball position. When you swing a golf club around your body, it's going to bottom out at some point. Okay, at the bottom of that swing would be really good if we had a golf ball there. So if we play the ball too far forward or too far back, it encourages so many bad things to happen. Again, it doesn't mean that we can't hit a good golf shot. We can manipulate the club back into the ball and still hit a good golf shot. But we can also hit a bad golf shot doing that. And what we're trying to do is hit more good shots than we are bad. If you have a ball too far forward in your stance, sometimes a person will set up to it, they'll put too much weight on their left side to get over the ball, encourages them to take away where the club is more picked up, encourages reverse pivots where they're stuck. When they start the downswing, they've either got to move forward and be in front of the object they're trying to hit, or they've got to fall back and away from the object they're trying to hit. Either one of those two things are conducive to hitting a good golf shot. So ball position is important. Too far back can cause it to go inside. And what I see a lot of times is kids just walk up to the ball, adults as well, and they just stand up to it. They don't have a routine as to how they position themselves to the ball. So I like to see a guy start out with feet together, 3 or 4 inches, and play the ball in the same place in your stance with every club. I mean, if I had a sandwich, short step back, the ball's back in my stance. 7-iron, a little bit bigger step, the ball's in the middle of my stance. Driver, a lot bigger step, the ball's forward in my stance. But the relationship between my left foot and the ball has stayed the same. Now, that's not to say that we don't move when we're trying to hit specialty shots like hooks or low shots or high shots, but for the average player, keeping the ball in a consistent place in their stance will allow them to trap the ball better than moving it all around. It will allow them to develop a swing that's repetitive, which is what we're trying to do. Put a tee down. If you find that spot, I don't know if it's 3 inches or 2 inches or 1 inch. When you start with 3 or 4 inches, put a tee on the outside of the ball. And every time you hit the golf ball, watch, look at your div. If the div is consistently forward, move the ball up just a tip. It's consistently back, move it back. Okay? Posture. Gosh, posture is so important. The guys on the tour are the worst. So many people have bad posture. You know, golf is about two things. It's about maintaining your place in space, and it's about rotation. That's all. And you know, I've got a degree in mathematics, so I have to relate everything to a physics standpoint. But you know, if you have to really tell somebody what happens for us to hit a golf ball straight, it's impossible. You just immediately will say it can't be done. But you know, we don't have to look at things from that analytical position. We can look at it from a much simpler position. If I maintain my place in space, if I can set up to the golf ball in such a way that I can swing the club back and through without the distance between me and the ball changing, I'm going to hit it pretty solid most of the time. So what I like to see a guy do, don't set in your heels, which is what a lot of people do because they've been used to being told to set on the stool. If you set in your heels, the first thing that's going to happen when you start to take the club back, the weight's going to come forward. You're going to be too close to the ball, and you're going to have that rounded back and that working the club underneath to get back to the golf ball. I don't want to manipulate this club if I don't have to. I want to be able to accelerate the club through the ball, allow it to swing. And if I allow it to swing, then it's going to square up pretty much on its own. So I need that posture to be pretty good. I like to see people with the weight, the rear end out, like they look ridiculous, the chest out, like they're showing off, back pretty straight, arms hanging down. So their weight is pretty balanced between their heels and toes. That gives them the best opportunity to swing back, to swing through without manipulating the golf club, without moving in space. So if you can keep a person still, then all you got to learn to do is rotate. And rotation is pretty easy when you're not moving. It's easy to get the club going back and through. And that will help us keep the club square, make solid contact with the golf ball better. So a good grip, good stance, good posture will enable us to be able to rotate, and the distance between us and the ball will remain pretty consistent. We'll become consistent ball strikers. I think a lot of times, like I say, people, they look at guys on the tour, they decide that they're good ball strikers or bad ball strikers. You know, Tiger, just for example, is an extremely successful golfer, obviously. I mean, 14 majors. I hear you guys talk all the time about maybe he needs another teacher, he's doing this wrong, he's doing that wrong. The reality is, Tiger's never been a great ball striker. He's had times where he struck the ball really good, and he's had times where he didn't strike it so good. But he's won in both of those times, as have most of the guys on the tour. There's been times on the tour when everybody struck the ball well, and there's been times when they don't hit it very well. The reality is, when Tiger wins, it's because Tiger has the best short game in the world. And that's what golf is all about. The better the short game, the better chance you have of being successful with it. Now, we know he has a lot of part, and part goes into winning, but I don't think the only thing that's wrong with Tiger right now is the fact that he's not making those putts. He's not getting up and down. He's not, falling through on the shots around the green the way that he used to. I mean, he used to be just unbelievable at getting the ball in the hole. And I think once that comes back to him, I think you'll see Tiger winning. And so, again, I don't think it's the coach. I don't think it's the specific golf swing. I think, what helps the average player play better is to be able to develop good fundamentals and develop a swing that's repetitive. I think what makes people win on the tour is having great short game. So that's the difference. Anyway, that's my spiel. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to go outside, show you a quick tip on how to get a ball out of a bunker, and I'm going to send this into the Golf Channel. We appreciate everything you guys do at the Golf Channel. Thanks for taking the time to look at this, and we'll see where it goes from there. Thank you a lot. I'm a PGA golf and teaching professional, and today's tip is going to focus on how an amateur can get a ball out of a bunker. Getting a ball out of a bunker for an amateur is a pretty big chore sometimes. They struggle with this probably more than any other shot in golf. A lot of the tips and the drills, the magazine articles focus on how far behind the ball a golfer should hit. Hitting 1 or 2 inches behind the golf ball just doesn't seem like a good idea to me. A lot of times when you pick a spot other than the golf ball to swing at, you usually swing at that spot and the club decelerates and stops at that spot. I always like to get a guy swinging through the golf ball. Okay, so one of the tips I use with a lot of my students, this is a good drill, is you take a tee, you take your golf ball and it's in a bunker, and you place it on a tee. Now, the ball, if I can get it to stand on the tee, is actually on a tee in the bunker. All right, so instead of thinking about hitting 1 or 2 or 3 inches behind the golf ball, what I like to tell a student is think about breaking that tee in two for me. You just take a nice, good swing, break that tee about a ½ inch from the top. Don't worry about where the golf ball goes. So here we go. You set up to it like a normal bunker shot, except there's a tee under the ball. And then you make a normal bunker shot and you just think, break the tee. You know, anytime you get amateurs swinging through the shot, they're going to benefit from it. Most shots in golf, most bad shots that amateurs hit, because they decelerate. So if we focus on a tee being under the ball, then we're going to swing through the shot. We're going to break that tee. They're going to get the ball out of the bunker and onto the green more times than not, thus becoming a better bunker player, gaining a lot of confidence. I'm Ray Lamb, and I'll see you next time.